What's up, sports fans? It's the Beast, and we're back at it with the videos after Canes games. Yeah, football season, college football. Oh my, it's back. So the Canes with a nice 45 to nothing win over Bethune-Cookman. Just about what you wanted to see over a team from a lower division. You know, it's one of those things where you try to weigh what the Canes did versus the level of competition. So we'll see even a little bit more next week against FAU, who had a big battle with Tulsa. And we'll see what improvements this Miami Hurricanes team made. But let's start on the offense. Some really good things. First of all, Brad Kaya, his numbers were okay. 16 of 27, 173 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He did get sacked once. Now, I thought he missed on some throws. He was high on a couple of throws. It wasn't great conditions. The field was wet. Everything was wet. Obviously, there was the weather delay. We'll get to that in a second. Was an okay night for Brad Kaya. After the game, Brad told us, he would rate his performance a 5 or 6 out of 10. So he knows he needs to improve, but I thought it was a good start for the sophomore quarterback. The rushing game, obviously, without Gus Edwards, you really saw the emergence of freshman Mark Walton. I think he's going to be really special. 10 carries for 85 yards, an 8.5 average. He had a long of 17 yards. Really a good night for him. And then, of course, Trayon Chalk Gray with 8 carries for 77 yards. Got in mostly late in the game, did a good job there. And then Joseph Yerby, I think we all, talked about this last night in the press box. My compadre Chris Whittingham from the ticket, Manny Navarro, a bunch of other people, that really it looks like Joe Yerby is going to end up being mostly a complimentary back. A guy that's going to be a change of pace guy, to come in and do some different things. But right now, I mean, I would put Mark Walton as the number one back if you need a number one back. I mean, you can go running back by committee if you want to. Al Golden was a little ambiguous on that last night when we asked him that question. As far as the receiving, I talked about it on the Eric and Leroy show earlier in the week. I really thought that Rashawn Scott was going to be a standout this year just because he had so much on the line. He's been through so much. He's had so much adversity, injury, and other wise, and he came out and really was a great target for Brad Kaya. 6 catches, 100 yards, along with 38 and a touchdown. That touchdown he caught was just such a great throw and an amazing catch for Rashawn Scott to bring that down in the end zone. Obviously, the bad news of the receiving core, Stacy Coley and Braxton Berrios go out with injuries. Berrios, it looks like it's a knee. Now, Coley was icing his hamstring, but they told us in the press box it was an ankle. I don't know which one it is. We hear from Al Golden Sunday night, so we have no update yet, but I'm not sure how transparent he'll be on that stuff anyways. A lot of times Al likes to kind of skirt around the injury issues, and that's what coaches do. So I don't know when we'll get a definite update on Stacy and Braxton. Obviously, this team having talent at receiver, but not a lot of depth at receiver. At least not a lot of top line depth. Those two guys being injured, if they're out for any length of time, that could really hurt this team. There's no doubt about it. But Rashawn Scott did a great job. And then, Stan Dobard had a nice night, a couple of catches. You'd like to see more from Njoku and Herndon. They're supposed to be those gazelle-type tight ends that can really get you some offense down the middle of the field. You didn't really see it last night. Offensive line-wise, they mixed and matched. They had time to put in the twos and whatnot late in the game. I think they played okay. I think they did better, obviously, in the run game. Obviously, with Bethune stacking the line of scrimmage, stacking the box, I thought the offensive line did a good job of opening up holes for the running backs. In pass pro, they did okay. Obviously, there was a couple of misses that I saw, but it's really, it's so hard for me to focus on the offensive line during a live game. That's just something I have to go back and watch on the tape to really focus on how they blocked, but I thought they did okay. Other side of the football. Obviously you pitch a shutout, and, that's the best you can do in college football, right? As a matter of fact, Mark D'Onofrio in the defense got a game ball last night. And listen, when you pitch a shutout, I don't care what team it's against, that's a good night. I saw some great things from Trent Harris. He had 5 total tackles, a half a sack, 1.5 tackles for loss. I thought he played great. I thought Tyreek McCord played good. I thought Kamalu played good. And obviously, the story on the defense last night was Corn Elder. Really making some great plays, not just in special teams, but on defense as well. Redwine had a great night in coverage. So you really saw some good things from the defense, I thought, last night. I thought they were a little bit more aggressive. I thought they brought some rushes when they needed to. Now, obviously, you're playing against a subpar team. So, how much do you want to put into the performance of the defense last night? Well, I'm going to take it with a grain of salt, but I thought it was a pretty good positive start to the season for this team. Overall, I think the really good thing about this team is, things were sluggish before the weather situation. The game, matter of fact, I found myself, in the beginning of the second quarter, before they went to the lightning delay, kind of looking more at my Twitter timeline than I was watching the game. But I give it to this team, man. Over an hour in the locker room with a weather delay, and to be honest with you, I'm kind of a meteorological buff. That's one of my passions, and I'm looking at the radar. I didn't think that they were going to get that game in last night. There was lightning all over the place, but stuff dissipated as it moved towards sunlight, so they were able to feel comfortable about putting the teams back out there. But I give props to Al Golden and the leadership of that team for holding things together in that locker room. Evidently, in talking to a couple players last night, they really weren't sitting around. They were stretching, they were trying to move around, trying to stay loose, trying to pump each other up in the locker room as they waited through that lightning delay. Remember, they don't know how long they're going to be in there because once lightning strikes, there's another 30 minutes tacked on. So they got through that, and then they came out and scored another 14 points before the half, and I think that really was the catalyst for the offense and the rest of the team to pick things up into half number two. For them to end up with almost 200 yards rushing in a shortened game. Remember, the third and fourth quarter were shortened to 10 minutes. I thought it was really good for this Miami Hurricanes football team. Listen, can't ask for much more on a night where you're playing a sub-level opponent, where the weather's horrible. You suffer a couple of big injuries in the receiving core. I thought overall it was a pretty good start to the season. We'll see a little bit more next week against FAU. I'll be in the press box in Boca covering that one as the Hurricanes take on the Owls. Hoot, hoot. And then we'll go from there. Then Nebraska comes to town, and we'll get a little more of a test. Man, how about that Hail Mary? BYU beating Nebraska in the final seconds. They're going to be hungry. There's no doubt about it when they come to Sun Life Stadium. All right, that'll do it for me. We've got videos up of Al Golden from last night and Mark Walton as well. We'll have plenty of sound. We'll talk plenty of Canes Monday morning. Chris Whittingham and I are hosting the morning show. We'll have all sorts of Canes sound and Canes talk, and we'll have it throughout the week as well. So for everyone here at AM 790 The Ticket, remember you can hear us on the HD. You have HD radio. Just figure it out. 104.3 HD2, you can get it. For everyone at The Ticket, I'm the Beast. Peace!